Hello, and welcome to Don't Let the White Coat Fool You. I am Dr. Norma Mobley, along with my dear friend, Dr. Prasharon Dixon, and it is so good connecting with you again as we've been thinking about how awesome and amazing it is to be women of color in medicine at this particular day and time.
Yeah.
You know, we go through a lot that's different than other people in medicine while navigating training and addressing health disparities. We're also carrying that weight of representation. So what we hope is that as you come along this journey with us, that you will sense an experience of sisterhood within the Melamed community. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and also follow the links to Instagram and Facebook.
Yes, we're excited to have you with us. And yes, we want you to like and subscribe. We know that. Like and subscribe.
I'm learning.
Hey, Norma, today I thought, this is a good time of the month for us to talk about women in history.
That's right.
This is the month for that. And,
Right.
we want to acknowledge all these Black women that we know who've been doing really great things in the world.
Right. In the world, in the past, and also in the present, having an impact on the future. So yes, March is Women's History Month, and we decided we would focus on women of color in that aspect. And so she and I were talking about a month ago, and she said, do you remember way back in the day? A lot of you young people don't realize this, but there hasn't always been those cute little panty liners for when you start your cycle, or the pads that have the adhesive to fit in your underwear. Way back in the beginning, they used to use towels and rags to place in the underwear.
I didn't have to quite use that, but
No. But along came Mary Kenner,
Yep.
thankfully, and she created the adjustable pelvic belt, which allowed for what was called the Kotex at that time, which was a large pad with two strips, one in the front, one in the back. You would place it in your underwear and attach it to that belt. It felt like a diaper, though, didn't it?
Right. I remember the first time my mother bought me one, and I was like, oh my God, what is this, and how do I put it on? But I never knew that a Black woman
Never knew that.
created that.
Right.
Right? So we sometimes just don't know all the wonderful things that we have done. And we have to keep teaching ourselves.
That's right.
Because we know, a lot of our history is being taken out of schools, but some of our history never made it.
No.
So
guess what else she invented?
What's that?
The toilet paper holder.
Oh my goodness.
That everybody still uses all
Yeah.
the time, right?
Right. So, I don't know. When we think about innovation, a lot of times we just don't even think about the fact that we just need to find what the world needs, right? And even in our jobs, sometimes we're not thinking about all the things that we could come up with that's going to be important to the people we love. I was telling Norma that I was really excited around COVID time, and I'm going to not say excited, but I was nervous about how are we going to get our community who have trust issues
Right.
with medicine and the healthcare system to really embrace this idea of needing that COVID vaccine.
Correct.
Like, how would we do that? And
especially with the dramatic statistics associated with the illness and mortality
right.
was impacting our community greater than other communities.
Well, and also, even as a provider being asked to do that, knowing what we have gone through in our communities, like, was I absolutely comfortable with telling people to take this vaccine that had, just appeared? Was I going to be okay with that? And honey, I became really okay when I saw who helped to invent that vaccine.
The technology for the
Yeah.
vaccine,
Yes,
because
Becky
it's not,
Colbert.
that's right. And it's not just used for the COVID vaccine. That technology is what she created.
But this is a young Black woman, Black woman who had been working in the labs for a long time to get that ready and was able to really put it into action really quickly because she'd already done the work. And that was so important to see a woman, a Black woman. And I felt so confident that now I'm good.
I was too.
I'm good with sharing this information and making sure that as many of our people as possible can get vaccinated if they need it.
That's right.
You know? So, and at the time, we all needed it because who was dying?
We were dying at a higher rate than anyone else.
Right. So those things are so important for us to be able to see ourselves. We keep talking about that. That is just, you know, even as providers, it's good for us to see you and you to see me, and it makes it where we have a commonality.
Right.
And so we need to be in all of these spaces.
And again, like you say, it's not always people way back in time. It's people in the here and now.
Right.
Like you just shared with me about the sickle cell information, and you actually met the woman who developed that technology.
Marilyn Gaston. She served as a Surgeon General. And I will tell you, when I met her, I was in medical school. And we had gone to a conference that 2 or 3 other medical students we were invited to. I think I talked about it before, that we were in the Bahamas. And she was the guest speaker there, pediatrician. And she made sure that as medical students, we got a chance to be before these women who were
already established in their careers.
Right. And our day kept getting moved back. We kept getting moved back. And she finally said, no, we're not leaving here before we hear from these medical students. So then we had an opportunity to sit and talk with her and learn that she was a Surgeon General and how she got to be Surgeon General. We invited her in a couple of years to come back and be the guest speaker for one of our conferences. And then it was later. She never mentioned it. But I found out that she was
You didn't even actually know it at the time? Wow.
No. For inventing
How
the
humble
sickle
is
cell.
that?
Yeah. And we know we need that in our community, because who else is the largest population with sickle cell?
Correct.
So to know that there's a screening test done for sickle cell that came into being because of yet another Black woman. So that's what I'm saying. We often don't know what we will bring to the table, you know, depending on your specialty or depending on what we decide to go into. It's just thinking, what do we need in this space? What's going to make our lives better? And certainly her doing that work that centered around making sure that we were able to identify African Americans who may be affected by this disease came from her being in that pediatric space.
Right.
Saying, you know, there's a way for us, I know there's a way for us to know earlier what we may be dealing with.
And now it's part of the newborn screening nationally.
Exactly. And we can help families much earlier to learn and understand the disease. And of course, you and I both worked in the sickle cell clinic at Grady Hospital, right?
Right.
And so we know over time that there have been so many innovations.
Great strides have been made. The longevity with sickle cell is much higher now than what it was when we were working in the sickle cell clinic. Oftentimes, a lot of the people would not survive well into their 20s.
Right.
And now they're living much longer, having families, having good, thriving lives.
And you have good examples of people who have made it through. You know, we have T-Boz, who had sickle cell disease and still was able to perform, but she had many a day when she toughed it out because she was having painful crises. But she is a woman of much older than 20.
Yes.
I will say who has benefited from all the great things that have come from the research around sickle cell disease. So,
and it was actually a Black woman.
Actually a Black woman who's benefited.
So guess what else? We've had, I'm sure there's many of you in the community who either, if not for yourself, you've had a family member, perhaps your parents, who have had to have laser surgery for their cataracts. And the actual technology for that laser was developed by a woman named Dr. Patricia Bath, who also happens to be a Black female.
My goodness, we are so talented. We are so talented. And we need to keep sharing this information with all of you as we, you know, just have these kind of discussions about what else do we bring to the table.
That's right. And for those of you who are viewing this right now, feel free to comment and let us know of other people that you may know of personally right now in the present day. For example, I have my younger sister, Dr. Constance Mobley. She's a liver transplant surgeon who's involved in innovative research right now in regard to the lymph node and how it can prolong the patient's life while awaiting a match for a liver.
Oh, wow. See, I mean, and your little sister
Right.
is doing that kind of work.
Right.
My goodness, we have so much to offer, and you younger folks who are out there, you guys think differently than us. So you're out there being able to figure out how just little things work, and it is that very little thing sometimes that makes all the difference in whether we live or die, or how much more longevity we have and our patients. And because we are Black women thinking about these things, we tend to think about what will impact the communities that we serve. So we really need your minds churning and thinking about that very small thing that's going to make the difference for
That's
all
right.
that we serve.
You little girls, stay excited about science and math. Continue with that intrigue, and you never know how that little seed will blossom into something great to make an awesome impact on the lives of many.
Boy, boy, boy. Talk about Black women in history.